Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we will be looking at the trailer that just came out for the movie Midway. Now, Midway is a film that is based off of real historical events, the Battle of Midway during World War II, which took place in the Pacific Theater between the United States and the Japanese Empire. Um, now, This was made into a film in 1976. It starred Charlton Heston and Henry Fonda. I've seen the movie. The '76 version is actually pretty good. It mixes in both Hollywood special effects and actual battle footage from World War II, presumably. Um, I do like the '76 version, but right now I'm gonna try and not compare a whole lot to it, other than a couple of things, as we just go through the trailer breakdown. Now, this is listed as a teaser, although it is almost 2 minutes long, so it's a very long teaser. Usually teasers are about a minute 30. This is probably a minute 45, minute 50. So without the advertisements at the end. So. Um, this movie, for the most part, it stars what appears to be Patrick Wilson and Ed Screen. They get pretty much most of the screen time in the trailer. You get a few glimpses of apparently Nick Jonas is in this movie for whatever goddamn reason. But you also have veteran actors like Woody Harrelson who are in this, among others. Luke Evans is in this as well. Dennis Quaid has a part in it. Aaron Eckhart is also in it. So there's a fair amount of seasoned actors in the film, just going forward. And again, I'm not going to go too much into it, but it does kind of mirror the original, where they used to do this a lot with war movies, where they would get a kind of an amalgam of a bunch of very famous actors and put them in the movie. They did it with The Longest Day. They did it with Midway. They've done it with other war films over the years. But the cast is fairly rounded out. It is kind of interesting. Again, Ed Screen and Patrick Wilson get most of the screen time, and they pretty much get almost an entirety of the dialogue in the trailer. Now, starting off from the beginning, we actually first get a look at the Battle of Pearl Harbor, and we get a voiceover by Patrick Wilson. He plays a U.S. intelligence officer, presumably with the Navy, and he basically explains that Pearl Harbor was the worst intelligence disaster in U.S. history, where they did not see the Japanese coming in to attack Pearl Harbor. Um, and that resulted in thousands upon thousands of American deaths. Uh, Now, they do show the Battle of Pearl Harbor actually pretty extensively from what they can tell from the trailer, unless some of that is edited in from the Battle of Midway just to kind of make it seem a bit longer, like some of the airplane strafes and stuff like that. Those could have very easily been edited in. Um, but the battle itself actually looks pretty good. They do a shot of the Japanese planes coming in and firing on the ships. Initially, actually, when we start seeing the battle, there's a scene where a little girl is looking out over Pearl Harbor, and her mother is inside the house. Doing something in the kitchen, and the building begins to shake. She then runs out to her daughter and sees what's actually happening. We find out actually later on in the trailer that presumably these are Ed Screen's characters, wife and child. But moving past the Battle of Pearl Harbor, we then go into another monologue. Well, the same continuation of the same monologue with Patrick Wilson, where he basically talks that he believes the next target for the Japanese is going to be Midway, and they are going to attack it even more so than they did Pearl Harbor. And this then leads into a lot of these shots. You have a Japanese armada. You have all these Zero fighters that are coming in and strafing all these guys on the beach. Again, a lot of really good visuals. Roland Emmerich directs this movie, and if you remember him, he directed both of the Independence Day films, as well as a few others. He has kind of a spotty record when it comes to certain films, but he's very good at doing large set pieces for the most part. Um, which is what you need for a film like this. The only problem that I kind of have with it, and that I'm a little afraid of, is that maybe we're going to follow too much on the Michael Bay Pearl Harbor vibes, as opposed to actually making this what it should be, which is a war film. Um, But moving on from that, you then get a monologue by Ed Skrein, and they're talking about basically taking the fight to the Japanese Navy and proving to the world that the U.S. Army or the U.S. Navy can handle itself again after Pearl Harbor and a lot of stuff. It's basically kind of like a pride speech. They show a little shot where he's lifting a drink up at a bar, then that it's all Air Force, presumably Air Force pilot, or they would be Navy pilots at the time. The Air Force didn't exist. Um, it would presumably be Navy pilots that are about to go into battle at Midway. So we get a few glimpses of things here. We don't see Woody Harrelson, who I believe plays Admiral Nimitz, and we also do not see Dennis Quaid in the trailer, from what I can tell. We do get a few shots of Aaron Eckhart, who appears to be playing a pilot. Ed Skrein also plays a pilot as well. Obviously, we get a lot of Patrick Wilson on top of that. So moving through the trailer, the last part of the trailer is really just a lot of quick shots, a lot of battle stuff. There's a few shots at the end that shows Ed Skrein in his airplane as he's dive bombing a Japanese ship. It shows a picture of his wife and daughter, who are the two the wife and daughter from the very beginning of the trailer that we see witness the Pearl Harbor attack. So, and then the trailer ends after that, and he gives a monologue saying that this will be something you remember for the rest of your lives. Now, I like the trailer. I do enjoy the trailer. I think it shows what it needs to show, which is what you need to sell the movie, which is a lot of war scenes, a lot of battle scenes, a lot of little snippets and stuff like that. That's what you want to see in a war movie. Generally, that's the spectacle of a war film, is the battle, and then you also add in the human element with Ed Skrein, mostly because of the whole connection with the family, and he was at Pearl Harbor and all this other stuff. So I thought the trailer was put together very well, but again, this is Roland Emmerich, so he has kind of a spotty track record when it comes to story-related stuff. Um, Now, I'm not saying that it's going to have a bad story, but it might be a movie that focuses far too much on individual human elements instead of the larger battle at hand. Now, you need the individual human elements over the course of the film in order to, draw in the audience to the greater spectacle. But if you focus too much on them, again, you find yourself in the realm of the Michael Bay Pearl Harbor film, where the entire thing just revolved around Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett wanting to bang the same chick, and nobody gave a shit by the time Pearl Harbor started blowing up. So I think with this movie, if they treat it like they did the 76 version, if they have a lot of strategy talk, if they jump around quite a bit, and kind of examine all these characters, give them good screen time, make sure they're respectful to what's going on. The other thing that the 76 version did, if I remember correctly, was they also gave screen time to the Japanese. Various Japanese characters as well, fighting on the opposite side. But I don't know, because they don't really show anything in the trailer. This might just be a one-sided type of thing where they show the stuff going on with the Americans on the ships and all that. So ultimately, the trailer has me interested. It hasn't sold me yet. I'm probably going to have to see a full trailer before I gauge whether or not I think the film has a chance to kind of be good for itself. But from what I've seen, it looks like they've done a good job kind of recreating the battle scenes. It looks like they're putting a decent amount into the characters and into the story that's behind the battle, but the majority of what they're showing us is what we want to see, which is the actual battle itself. So that's my breakdown. Again, cautiously optimistic at this point. Trailer was good. Concerned about Roland Emmerich, even though I do like both of the Independence Day films. Um, as usual, I will link the trailer in the description below if you would like to watch it. And tell me, uh, would you like to see this movie? Are you a fan of the 76 version? Are you into war movies? Is this something that you would be interested in? Again, this is following a very good showing by Christopher Nolan with Dunkirk. So, then the film that follows that has a lot in terms of a war movie, has a lot to live up to. So I don't know if it can actually hit that, but it would be interesting to see. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Again, I always like to read them and see what you guys think. Uh, Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?